This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Alright, so post-fight review for Anthony Joshua versus Oleksandr Usyk. Of course, this was for Anthony Joshua's unified world heavyweight titles, WBO, WBA, IBF and IBO, Tottenham Hotspur Football Stadium. Now, firstly, apologies for any background noise. I'm literally just driving home now. I watched the entire fight event at Mark Lazelle's house with Stephen USR Robinson, George O'Connor and a whole bunch of good people. Now, as far as the fight, for me, Oleksandr Usyk won this fight. Okay, and I know a lot of people will probably expect me to say, no, Anthony Joshua, he won this fight, blah. No, he didn't win this fight, okay? Even me, okay, I couldn't sit there and lie, okay? Anthony Joshua did not win this fight. And the reason why I say that is because, well, firstly, it was obvious, but secondly, it's because the tactics were all wrong. Now, I'm not blaming Rob McCracken, and I'm not suggesting for a second, not for 1 second, that Anthony Joshua gets rid of Rob McCracken, okay? But the tactics were wrong. And every time that we could hear what it was that Rob McCracken was talking about in the corner to Anthony Joshua with his instructions, they were not what Anthony Joshua should be doing. He was telling Anthony Joshua, just use the left. Just use the jab, the right will follow, the right will come. But this is Oleksandr Usyk. Oleksandr Usyk is as slippery as they come. The rounds that Anthony Joshua won are the rounds that Anthony Joshua went forward and was actually throwing the right hand. They were the rounds that Anthony Joshua won quite comfortably. But at the same time, I mean, what kind of score could you give that fight? I mean, I wasn't scoring it too much, but I think after the first 4 rounds, I think Anthony Joshua was in a whole world of trouble, especially when he got hit by a huge left against the southpaw Oleksandr Usyk. It hit Joshua right in the button, and Joshua took the punch, but it certainly hurt him. But right at the stroke of the bell, he did actually hurt Usyk as well. I think the commentators actually missed that part. But anyway, now, Anthony Joshua, he did okay in parts. Of course he did. Of course he did. And let's not pretend that Oleksandr Usyk just went in there and absolutely dominated him, because that's not what happened at all, is it? I thought that, I mean, 8-4, would that be a fair score to give Oleksandr Usyk? Would that be dominant? Maybe to some. But ultimately, the tactics were wrong. I thought that Anthony Joshua, I don't know why, it seemed like he was a little bit nervous of Usyk. And he didn't really need to be nervous of Usyk, in the sense of Usyk hit him with some very, very clean punches, and Joshua took them. Sure, he got hurt in round number 3, and especially at the very end of the fight, where Joshua was up against the ropes, and yes, he was slipping the shots, so he had enough about him to slip the shots, and yes, he was hurt, but again, that was more down to fatigue, tiredness than anything else. I think that that would be fair to say. But the truth is, Anthony Joshua didn't win this fight. And can Anthony Joshua improve to get the revenge in the rematch? Well, for me, I think that the only way that Anthony Joshua should take this rematch, because of course there is a rematch clause for Anthony Joshua. Yes, it's a mandatory, but Usyk got paid more money for this fight by signing this rematch clause contract. But of course, Usyk, he's going to get more money in the rematch anyway. Of course, he'll probably be the A side in the rematch. But is it worth Joshua taking it? Can Joshua improve that much where he's going to beat Joshua? That he's going to beat Usyk. Now, I don't know whether Joshua bought into the fact that Usyk is a cruiserweight, he's a heavyweight. As soon as Joshua lands, Usyk's going to feel it, and then before you know it, Joshua will take over and stop him. I don't really know why he did think that, if of course he did think that. When Usyk, he's never hit the deck, he's never really been hurt. I mean, he was hurt in the very, very early part of his career where he was stopped on the ropes, but that was a long, long time ago, when Usyk was fighting at a much smaller weight. It was a middleweight. This was around about the time when he was fighting Sean Porter and that in the amateurs. But anyway, can he get Usyk back in the rematch? Yes, of course he can. He can, by knocking him out, by throwing that right hand more often. And I don't know whether or not that Joshua was a little bit nervous. I mean, maybe he's still carrying some demons after the Andy Ruiz first fight. And rightfully so, he should be. Any fighter should be. You should always be worried about what's coming back, especially the heavyweight division, right? But either way, I mean, we'll cover the rematch as and when that is going to be officially announced. I haven't seen any kind of post-fight interviews of Anthony Joshua or anything like that, so I don't know what it is that he said. But clearly, he was absolutely exhausted. He was exhausted. Okay, Usyk didn't fatigue at all, did he? And Usyk did get hurt. He got hurt on a couple of points. But again, he's going to be, because Joshua punches very, very hard. But outside of a puncher's chance, I mean, is that really what we're going to give Anthony Joshua, a puncher's chance? No. I mean, for me, I think that would be a little bit unfair, just to give Joshua a puncher's chance in a rematch. And I don't want to hear any kind of like Fury fan saying, well, imagine what Tyson Fury would have done. No, totally different, totally different. Joshua always fights better against taller opponents. I've said this time and time again, that Joshua seems to struggle with shorter opponents. But you know what? At the same time, there's no shame in losing to a pound-for-pound fighter. And that's exactly what Oleksandr Usyk is. You don't become undisputed cruiserweight world champion for no reason, okay? You just don't. Could Usyk go on and beat the likes of Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz Jr. and all these other guys? Well, of course he can. Of course he can. But right now, this is still going to be about Joshua and Usyk, the rematch. But first things first, this fight didn't go well for Anthony Joshua at all. I don't think anybody could really give Anthony Joshua this victory. They really couldn't. Anyway, listen, that's my thoughts on this fight. Congratulations to Oleksandr Usyk. And yes, I look forward to the rematch. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.